Joining us for our next talk is PruceStrats. This is someone who will be discussing how things like ADHD have affected their abilities to achieve goals, maybe not just in OSU, but in various other aspects of life. So, Bruce, I will leave you to your talk, but before that, if you join the Discord server and look at the text thread, there is a text version of the script for this talk if you guys want to read along for those of you who are not super comfortable listening in English. But yes, with that, Bruce, I will leave you to your talk, and thank you everyone for being here.
Hello, and thank you everyone who's taken time out of their day to listen to this OSU Talk event. Today I'm going to be talking about overcoming adversity in day-to-day life. Um, my talk today will be centered around my experience with ADHD, as that has been one of my biggest hurdles to overcome, not only when I was in school, but also when I transitioned into the professional world. I do want to say that even though this isn't directly connected to my experience with OSU, I do believe that overcoming obstacles in any setting will improve your ability to overcome obstacles in the future wherever those obstacles may arise. So just to quickly define ADHD for those who may be unfamiliar, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, commonly abbreviated as ADHD, is a neurodevelopmental disorder that impairs executive function in people affected. Executive function is a set of mental skills that includes working memory, flexible thinking, and self-control. Without getting too far into specifics, ADHD causes issues with attention, working memory, and self-control. Naturally, ADHD is an obstacle in the academic and professional lives of those affected because executive function skills are an important and successful tool um, uh, for success in all aspects of life. I lived with ADHD for about 25 years before being diagnosed, for which I was aware that I had ADHD and just hadn't sought diagnosis yet. Before learning I had ADHD, I never understood why others had such a seemingly easy time focusing on uninteresting tasks. I always assumed that I was just lazy or unmotivated, and this assumption about myself would cause me to perform worse in school and later on in the professional world than I had before I internalized these negative thoughts about myself. As you start to essentialize negative attributes to yourself, you will do things to meet those expectations. It wasn't until I learned to reframe my thoughts about myself that I would learn that I am not a lazy or an unmotivated person. Thinking of these things as a temporary state of being rather than an essential part of myself would help me begin seeing opportunities for improvement. I would learn that it's much easier to focus on things I enjoy, so I took a job in fast food which paid less but was more fun. I would learn that dealing with obstacles is much easier after a good night's sleep, so I started going to bed earlier. Thinking critically about my strengths and weaknesses helped me to minimize unnecessary barriers while I worked to learn skills that would help me in daily life. Learning to see my struggles as temporary barriers to be overcome would make the process of self-improvement much more possible. The kicker is I would achieve all of this improvement well before I ever understood what ADHD is. The symptoms of ADHD are still a daily obstacle to overcome, but having treatment for ADHD today has made the process much easier. Today, I can work a job with many boring tasks and lots of opportunities to get distracted. If I had worked this job before developing the skills I have, I would never have been able to meet the performance standards set by my employer. I would still be much more limited than I currently am, and I had I never reached out for help. So some take some takeaways from this story, and like also how you can apply these for improvement in OSU. Um, are that negative traits are a temporary state of being. Um, the second takeaway is you are not the negative views you hold of yourself, and you can improve even if the process of improvement is a difficult one. The third takeaway is that a change in mindset and focusing on your strengths can help you improve in your weaknesses. And the final is it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help when you need it. It's actually a sign of strength. Yeah, that's about it.